Hello everyone, Pablo here. I just want to pop in and make a quick video about the latest board I have, which is the Meepo Voyager. I've seen a lot of reviews online, and the reason I'm making this video is because none of them address the elephant in the room, which to me is the most important thing, and which is the reason why I'm making this video. But before I get to that, I want to address some of the things that they do complain about. There's not a lot of things to complain about. Because let me start off by saying this is an excellent board. I love it. The combination of these cyclone wheels with the flexible deck makes you feel like you're just riding on clouds, and it's a very comfortable ride. It has great range, great battery, good trucks, and yeah, I'm really loving it right now. It's the board that I use the most at the moment. So let me start by addressing some of the issues that they do complain about, nitpicks, as you may call them. The first one people complain about is the fact that the grip tape covers the screws to put in shed lights. As you can probably tell, I have shed lights installed on mine. It was very easy to do. I didn't need to pull back or peel back the grip tape. I could just unscrew the nuts from the bottom and install them right away. So good on Meepo for that. I don't see that as an issue at all. I see that as a plus. However, I can't do tail lights. That's the only issue. But yeah, that's not a problem. The other thing they complain about online is the remote. Some people find it to be too small. I actually think this is an advantage, because when you are wearing big bulky gloves, it's hard to hold a big remote. This is perfect. You know, when you have gloves on, it actually fits, and it's easier to hold on to, and it's easier to control, and it's light, which I think it's an advantage, not a disadvantage. So good on Meepo for that as well. What else did they complain about? The bushings. A lot of people don't like the bushings. I'd say that that's probably a legitimate concern. I did have to change the back bushings. I put Riptide's 93A harder bushings on there because these wheels tend to slide out or whip out on the back. So that's why I put those harder bushings on there. I kept the stock bushings on the front, which I assume are 90A, but I don't really know. And I don't have Riptides, otherwise I'll probably replace those. But I did replace the pivot cups, and I put Riptide pivot cups on there. So yeah, so I think that is a legitimate complaint, the bushings. All right, so but none of them address the elephant in the room, which is what I'm here to address, and that's the ESC. My very first board that I had was a Meepo Mini, and that was a hub board, and the ESC on that board was a death trap, in my opinion. I almost killed myself with it, and I think that was probably a combination of me being a beginner rider, but also mostly I think it was because the ESC was just way too dangerous. And I swore I would never buy another Meepo board because of that, until they came up with this board. Meepo has made a lot of hype about all the improvements they've made on their ESC and how comparable it is now to the Hobby Wing ESC and how smooth it is. And when I test rode the Hurricane, it did feel smooth. But on this board, it's not. It is actually very jerky. The acceleration is very jerky. And that is my number one complaint. I own 7 electric skateboards, and the only other one that has a worse ESC, I would say, is the Boston Sportster. And the only reason that's worse is because it's not only jerky acceleration, but it has very soft brakes. And in New York City, if you live in a big city like Brooklyn, in New York City, it's very dangerous. So that's my most dangerous board, but this would be my second most dangerous board because of the jerky acceleration on the ESC. However, Meepo does provide a setting to control the torque, which fixes that problem. So good on Meepo for that. However, that brings me to my second complaint. The second complaint is they don't tell you how to use that setting or how to find the setting or how to use it. It's not in their user manual, it's not on their website, or at least that I could find. You have to fiddle with the remote, you have to long press the two buttons while the remote is off and the board is on, and then you find it, and when you do find it, it's labeled as wheel speed. It doesn't control the wheel speed as far as I can tell. The only thing it controls is the torque on the board, which is good because I've been able to tone it down to a comfortable torque for me, which is a little bit smoother than the default setting that it came with, which was 72. That's the other thing, is like, what does that mean? They don't tell you what that setting is supposed to be with the wheels, or with what hubs, with what the pulleys, or with what wheels. So there's really no information. You just have to like do trial and error until you find a comfortable setting for you. And I'm still lowering it because sometimes it feels a little bit jerky. So that's my second complaint. They don't give you any information about this setting. And even though it's labeled wheel speed, it doesn't actually change the physical speed that you're going at, but it does change the speed on the remote, and only on the remote. And that brings me to my third complaint. The speed on the remote and the odometer are way off, and there's no way to like fix it. You can't, they're just way off. So you can't measure how far you're going, you can't measure your range, you can't rely on the speed that the remote says you're going at because it's not accurate. And that's my third complaint. So those are my three complaints, but I think they're the elephant in the room that nobody talks about in these reviews for some reason. I don't know if I got an exception, but I think other people actually do have this problem, but they just don't mention it in their reviews. So those are my three things. Sorry that there is no writing video here. It's just a quick review. I just want to pop in and mention those things. But at the end of the day, I really love the board. I'm very happy with it. I don't have any regrets about it. And the complaints that I mentioned here in this video are only to help potential buyers make up their mind when they decide to buy the board, and have the knowledge of the things that are potential problems before they buy the board. And hopefully Meepo will take notice and fix some of those issues. All right, have a good one, guys.